And there we go. Welcome to my live stream. Or to you guys being on a YouTube video. This is going to be a live stream slash YouTube video. This is a slight tutorial on how to build an Admiral, like, generic looking house. I'm going to be using straightforward textures and stuff. First things first, I will disable one of my mods here, the resource pack, since I use quite a few resource packs back in the day. This is 1.8.3, I think, so this is an older, updated Minecraft server. And you can tell I'm using one of the resource packs, one of these really nice resource packs that I truly love. And I hope one day they will upgrade it to the 1.9 so I can play the Pixelmon servers with this update. So for this purpose, we're going to use very basic wood types. So I am just going to grab these little pieces of wood and wood. Don't put that into context, please. Let's see. So we're gonna grab a few items here. So the generic items, I'm using basically the first gen items, stuff that you would normally find like really earlier on. It's like cobblestone, wood, oak, or whatever, or depending on the biome you're in once you joined in. And that should be good for measurements and stuff. By far, what you need is a nice open field, or if you really need to, use a shovel to flatten out a nice little field. So I was lucky enough that I spawned into this world with this. So first things first, we use pillars, because I like to keep my house legit, like shape-wise. I'm gonna build a pillar. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 blocks height, and in between these pillars, we want to have what we call the wall spacing. I go by the rule of 3, 5, 7, and 9. Just you guys may not understand it, but I'll show you what I mean. The rule is 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3, and you have a pillar. That's basically a simple way of making a wall part. I go by this rule because it's easier to make a house when you understand this. But this time I'm going to use the 5 and 7 rule. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then add the pillar. And you add up to 3 blocks height, like so. And then add your window. Oops, sorry. Don't mind, I'm using a trackball mouse, it's not really stable. That's basically a simplistic wall of a house. You can continue, so now let's make a 7 instead. So remember I said a 5, 7 rule. So now let's make a 7 block length between the pillars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we place another pillar up to 5 blocks height and fill it in. So already we have a simplistic wall. Because of this rule, it makes the windows evenly, or you can, with the 7 rule, you can make a double window. So let's just make a double-sized windows right here. These are single windows, these are double windows, because there's 2 on the side, which oftenly works this way. Now for the width of the house, I'm going to do the 5 rule. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's place this. And we continue on. You can skip this process of adding the wood, the cobblestone, because we already know that this pillar is where it's 7 right here. Now we have a 7, so we have basically a corner. Now, just for fancy wise, I'll make an L-shaped house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pillar. That's a 5 rule. Remember when I said when you do 5s and 7s? Because of this, I can easily make the shape of the house pretty good. 5. Without having to assemble and break the blocks over and over again, trying to get the shape correctly. So now, because I got most of it built, I just have to fill in the gaps. All I got left to do is measure where to place the doors. I can show you how to do that in a sec. Now, for a deviation of this house design, I'm going to add a small little area right here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to follow the 3 rule, because might as well. Same block height of the pillars. And I'm going to knock down this wall because I want this to be part of the house. This is another way you can modify your house. So now I just basically modify the house to have an extra opening right there in this little area. let me just finish this off. We have a doorway for the house, and now I just have to build up the house. Sorry if my squinting a little bit. The shader does put in a lot of glare, and also my lamp too in my face, so don't mind the lamp in the face. So this will take a few seconds. I don't use, or for YouTube videos, I don't know how to use those what you call it, editors. So I'm just basically gonna run. I think free account is 15 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, for a video. So I have the clock counter running, so I got about 6 minutes in right now. So let's hurry up and slab this house together. So already, well, if we had the resources, like again, I'm using default resources, so this house will be really simplistically made. And there we go. Oh, sorry, there's a few more windows left. There, we have basically the ground floor unit completed. Now, for realistic touches, again, with the flooring of the house, I like to add what they call pillars. Because this gives an aesthetic touch to the house. Also gives you a guideline to where the floors are going to be too. So, I usually go by 1, 2, 3 block height, so when you jump, you don't hit your head on the ceiling type of deal. So I'm gonna leave the grass on the ground. I'll eventually build it up later on. So there we have it right now. So I'm gonna add the cobblestone for the second floor. If you want a second floor. So for this reference wise, this is going to be a single floor bungalow house. So it's just going to be the house on the ground level area. Though I'm probably going to deviate that. I'm going to probably make the center part of the house as a top part. Or basically, actually I have a better idea to make this house. So we'll have to take a look when we get into it. So now we have the ground unit of the house. Let me skip it to day. Time set 0. Back to daytime. For now, we should get some more resources here. Let's grab some cobblestone stairs because I like using that as the roof. I also need a variant of the wood for the flooring. Now, slabs are good because if you really want to be cheap on wood, you make slabs because you get double per block. One block you can have 2 planks per floor, so you only need half the wood to create your flooring in your house, like so. So that's pretty much how you do it. Same goes for the ground floor. So basically, if you want to be very economic on the amount of resources. As for the roof, it's pretty simple. I always leave a little slight overhang on the roof because mostly roofs do have a little overhang. I always start at the cobblestone layer. This is the cobblestone layer. So here we go. However, this is a little different because I'm gonna have a wall here. It's gonna change the design of the house. Also, I was planning to make a second floor. So basically, I gotta remove this layer and make the second floor. Second floor is pretty much the same thing again. This counts as 1, 2, 3, 4. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We needed 5 because that's the height of the original pillars. I'm sorry, sometimes it's disorienting when you already have the 1 block down where the cobblestone is. Where the cobblestone is where your trim is of your house. So we already know where the trim is, so we don't need to worry about that. I'm definitely making a 2-story house then, because might as well. I'll show you a different style house. So it'll be basically the same method, like again the 2-5. I'm gonna leave this open because what I'm planning to do here is make, because it fits the 3 and 5 rule. This will actually mesh into the actual seams of the house, of the roof line. Because this is where your cobblestone layer is going to be. Once you, as you can see, this little wall here. and then basically it continues on from there. So now you have a roof line of your house. I just remember back in the day where you cannot turn, or you can't do steps in this position. They're always on this position. So now we have a sloped roof line that goes all the way up to the top here. This run I'm going to leave as a flat roof, but I'm going to continue from here on end. So that's going to do this. So here we go, and then we do. This is a way to make what they call the arch. I always leave like a little window because the 5 rule allows you a window. The 3 will not. The 3 will give you what they call a half window, like this. The 7 will give you a large double window style on the roof line. But it's a good idea to make. So let's go do that right now. And then lastly, the top cap. So then there you have the house. Because the 5 and 3 fits perfectly, the roof line is pretty much mesh with the roof. So the mesh is pretty much, the roof is meshed, sorry, pretty much all the way up to the top of the arch of the house. So basically you have this little design like that. I'm almost out of time, so I will just finish off by making this wall, and we'll continue on from there. And here we have it. And that's the cobblestone layer for roof line. And that's pretty much it for now. I will be right back in a few minutes for part 2.